Hi guys, and welcome to another distillery tour with Distillique, where today we're visiting Cape of Storms Distillery here in the foreshore in Cape Town. Rum dedicated distillery making 3 different styles of rum, including, very interesting one, a botanical infused rum. So let's see what they do here at Cape of Storms.
Hi, my name is Dylan and I'm the distiller here at Cape of Storms Distilling Company. At the moment we are Cape Town's only rum-focused distillery. Well, the whole idea started back in 2017. I had just come back from Tanzania, setting up a gin distillery there with a close friend. And I came back to visit my parents in Swaziland. My father, who has been in the logistics industry his whole life, he was now tired of the logistics industry and he wanted to get out and do something that he would find he would enjoy a lot more. So I kind of came up with the whole idea of let's do a craft distillery down in Cape Town. Our family is originally from Cape Town. So we said, okay, let's do this. And then we kind of kicked around the idea back and forth about what we were gonna do. Obviously with gin being so popular in South Africa, that was an option. But we did kind of look to what was potentially coming up in the future in terms of what was going to be popular, as well as what we really enjoyed ourselves. Now my father's always been a rum drinker since his very, very early days. I also had quite an interest in some of the more higher end Caribbean rum, so we decided no, we were gonna now give rum a shot. I didn't have any experience at all in rum back then, but we sort of decided we were gonna do it, and I spent the next 2 years working on sort of getting a rum recipe down, and then we moved down to Cape Town, and yeah, we set up the distillery. Well, the biggest challenges, which undoubtedly everyone in this industry faces, is getting our alcohol license, which took, if I'm not mistaken, 1 year and 2 months. During that time we had to pay rent for the premises, and we couldn't really make any money off of the distillery obviously during that time. So that was a massive challenge, both financially and from a time perspective. And then the other one was also finally getting our SARS number, which again for us it took, if I recall correctly, about 1 year. And obviously you're not supposed to be selling without having your SARS number because you've got to pay your excise tax. So those were probably the 2 biggest challenges, and then more recently, obviously the COVID pandemic. Being in the lockdown, we're still a fairly new company. We've spent probably about close on half of our time in existence, in the COVID lockdown. So that's obviously been quite a big challenge. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are a rum-focused distillery. So at this point in time, we have 3 rums. The rum that I spent the 2 years working on was our white rum. Now the whole idea behind that one was to make a sipping white rum, something that a person can sit down and enjoy just as is. It was inspired by the Caribbean way of making rum. So I did spend a long time researching how they make their rums. And like I said, I spent 2 years sitting doing multiple experiments, working with different yeasts, different molasses from different parts of the world to get to the recipe which we have now, which is we get our molasses from KZN. We use yeast from the Caribbean to get the white rum, which is distilled once in our big pot still and then a second time through our column still. Then from there, we take the white rum and that is used to make our 2 other products, which is a botanical rum. So the botanical rum, I took some inspiration from gin making techniques. So that is both vapor infused and macerated. Honeybush and nachi are the 2 main flavors there, along with a few other spices. That at the time we launched it, we were actually the 2nd distillery in the world to launch a botanical rum. Subsequently, we have seen a number of other botanical rums popping up. So it's quite a new idea, but definitely a lot of fun. And then the final one is our oak infused rum, which we opted to use virgin American oak for aging the rum, and we use staves, which then we allow to sit for in the region of about 2 months before so we use 2 different types of American oak, and then we blend the final product together. So the whole idea behind that one, the reason why we called it oak infused, is particularly because we weren't going for an age statement. The idea was more to sort of get a nice blend of rum flavors and oak flavors. So yeah. I think, you know, what makes us stand out is obviously the process that we go through. You know, we sort of embrace the whole craft idea, and we kind of make sure that we do everything that is possible ourselves. So, you know, from fermentation through to bottling, labeling, everything is done by either myself or one of the family members. You know, that's obviously also quite an important thing. Is, you know, we're a family-run distillery, so at least one of the family members has a hand in every part of the process. Also, obviously, you know, how we look at rum particularly, we like to sort of break the mold of what is seen as traditional, you know, your dark rums and your spiced rums, your traditional stuff like that. So, you know, that's why we went more for sort of the oak infused and the botanical rum. We really kind of want to shake the idea of rum up, and in doing so, kind of a big goal of ours is to educate the South African populace about what rum can potentially be, you know, to sort of change their perception from what it is now, which is a very negative perception of rum. Yeah. Okay, so when it comes to our tastings, as well as we, in partnership with our neighbor here, who is a sound lounge, we have sort of small events in the region of 100 people or less, and we serve cocktails at those. And the whole focus on our tastings and our cocktails and that kind of thing is everything is made locally, if not here in Cape Town itself. You know, then it will be within South Africa. So all of the mixes that we use are all made by local companies. All of the, obviously the fresh fruit and the dried fruit and everything that we use is all locally made. So we have a massive focus on supporting local companies. And then obviously with the events, we obviously hire local barmen as well to assist us at those events, because it can get quite busy. So, you know, it is definitely a big focus to support local small businesses particularly, you know, so guys who are making craft mixes, guys who are making, you know, craft bitters, that kind of thing, yeah. So what makes us a craft distillery is definitely our whole sort of ethos of doing everything ourselves. I mean, we do our fermentation ourselves, we don't buy in any alcohol. You know, the whole process has, like I mentioned before, you know, at least one of the family members has a part in the production process. So, you know, fermentation, distillation is myself, bottling, labeling, myself, my father, my sister, we all take part in that. My sister handles all of the social media and the design of the labels. My mother is admin, so it's literally the whole process we are involved in. I mean, I always like to say if we could make the molasses ourselves, we would do that. It's just not feasible. So, you know, it's definitely literally from as sort of low down on the chain of production, we start right there. You know, no buying in of anything that's artificial or buying in of alcohol, anything along those lines. Well, at the moment, you know, once everything has returned to the new normal, as we like to say, we definitely have a lot of interest with export, so that's definitely going to be quite a big push that we're going with next year. We've got a number of other products that we are also working on, you know, sort of more traditional barrel-aged spiced rums as well. So we are looking at some of those things that you know, people see as your more traditional rums, but we are obviously going to put our own little twists on it. So it's more products, all going to be rum focused. Definitely, that's sort of from the beginning, that's what we said we wanted to be, is a rum distillery. So there's that, the export, and yeah. So we do have a number of locations in Gauteng, in sort of KwaZulu-Natal, obviously here in Cape Town, which you can find all of the stockists online, but we are also doing a massive push at the moment for online sales here, simply because you know, obviously everyone's wanting to kind of stay at home at the moment particularly, but it is a big push at the moment. So you know, you can order online and we do free delivery, so yeah.